With the arrival of the new patch Ascending Tide for Elder Scrolls Online, is basically changed some stuff for the classes and sets, some nerfs, some upgrades as well. And I like to present you today in this video my Magicka Templar, and also I'm planning to do a lot of DPS, tank and healing videos because I was spending last couple of months to check out the sets, etc., try test them out in the dungeon and trials, format content, and some PvP videos are on the way as well. So it is the first step for that project that I was working on for some time. So let's talk and let's just go and jump into the video. But before that, please subscribe, like and comment below what you think about it. Our first stop is the character sheet and the attributes as well. So we do have 64 into health basically, and we are using the Thief Mundus stone to get more crit, and we have a red Frotgar or Zorga's red Frotgar food to get max health and a little bit sustain as well. So unbuffed 1.3k Magicka recovery, 4.2k spell damage, 64.4% spell crits, 19.2k maximum magic, and nearly 14k maximum stamina basically. And we do have a 7274 spell penetration and a little bit resistances as well. And we are not a vampire, we ain't vampire, and we are high elf as well, so keep in mind the food. You can see right here Orzorga's red Frotgar, 5.4k max health and 493 Magicka recovery. And the potion that we are using is basically max health, max Magicka, magic recovery, major sorcery, major prophecy, spell damage and spell crit it does give to us. So those are the attributes and miscellaneous and all those stuff. The next step is the gear. So there's a lot of gear choices that you could use in Ascending Tide DLC, but basically you can think, oh, Qiuvox Basei has been nerfed, why you are still using it? It is nerfed, that is correct, but it is the not, it doesn't destroy your setup, I would say. Yeah, and it is still quite good. So you can see some people is using two-handed, like on the Magicka classes, Reliquien, etc., etc. So the difference between those is like a 5k DPS. So at this point, I really don't care about it. I mean, the 5k DPS is not that big, even though it is not 5k, or it could be 10k even. But the difference is not that big, and the Basei basically working perfect. So just keep in mind, you don't need to use the two-handed or something. I will come into this subject after I explain my setup, my gear at least, and then I will come into the alternates that what you can do and if you should do it or if not. We are using double daggers on the front bar. Two of them is precise, one with the poison, one with the flame. This is Pillar of Nirn set. Two of them is daggers, keep in mind. And we do have 3 Javelry of Pillar of Nirn. 3 of them is Bloodthirsty with spell damage, 3 of it. And basically, the set gives you stam, crit chance, weapon and spell damage. And when you deal damage, you create a fissure underneath the enemy after 1 second, dealing 3.6k bleed damage to all enemies within 2.5 meters and causing them to bleed for an additional 16.4k bleed damage over 10 seconds. This can proc every 10 seconds and scale off the higher of your weapon or spell damage. For in our case, This is gonna be scaling with the spell damage basically. And if I like to show it to you quickly, if I see an enemy around, if there's an enemy around, basically this is how it looks when you do damage. The pillar goes up and then it just deals damage. So it is a damage over time, and this is hitting quite good and high as well. So you can say, oh, this is hitting like 2k, 3k, blah blah. It is actually not hitting 2k, 3k in trial and dungeon situations with all those buffs. This is crazy set, and this is also AoE as well, keep in mind. And this is basically melting everything and everyone. And yeah, you can see the Pillar of Norn as well in there. And this is how it looks. It has 2.5 meters range, and this is quite fine, like nothing moving too much anyways. The back bar, our lovely Milestorm perfected Inferno stuff with the infused and weapon and spell damage glyph on it. Basically, you need to use blockade for it to work. You can read it right here, and penetration as well. And we are using 7 light, by the way. We are using 7 light. We have Slime Crow guys with the Divines and Max Health glyph to get 771 crit chance. And 5-piece Bassei, all of them is Magicka enchant, and all of them Divines, chest, shoulders, waist, legs, and shoes. You get 5% more damage, and also increase your damage down to non-player enemies by up to 12% based on your missing Magicka. So when you are low on magic, like this for example, just drop it down, and when you look at this, you can see the current value is 8% right now, but obviously it is going to go up. It is 5%, it is going less because my Magicka going up, so it is 2% right now. So you need to have basically less Magicka for this to work. You may say, why 64 health and why max out magic recovery foot? Because of Tessian, okay? And Tessian gives you 1.2k spell damage, I guess, and this is quite cool. And the nerf to your health and shield is not big because you have health. So when the Tessian basically procced to maximum, it reduces your health by 6,000. So considering our health is 32.2 minus 6k, it is 26k. So it is quite 26.3k basically. And it is without the Warden max out buff. Okay, it is without the Warden max out buff. And you will get 10% extra, so it is like a 29k-ish kind of thing. You can think about it. So Tessian is good as well. So those are the sets that I'm running, but now this is alternates. What you can do as well. You can switch off the Tessian and put the kilt, basically, and have the Tessian, again, Bassei here. And you can put the kilt, and you can increase your crit chance and crit damage if you are going into the trial. But if you are going into the trifectas, in the dungeons, etc., etc., you can just use the Bassei leg and Tessian gloves and just keep running with it. This is quite cool setup in this case. And another thing in here, basically on the arenas, VMA, Milestone perfected Battle Axe, dealing damage with crit charge causes enemies to bleed for 8.6k bleed damage over 7 seconds. And this will scale with your spell damage. So basically what they do is replacing the blockade with, where is it? Let me show you. with crit charge, basically. It is just replacing the skill and the item on the back bar and playing like this. So it is, if you ask me, this is not good in most situations, even in the trial or the dungeon, except VSS. It is okay in VSS. You can do it that way, all right? And use the kilt as well with the two-handed. So, but the blockade basically is an AoE, right? So, where there is a lot of ads, the two-handed is going to decrease your damage a lot, because the blockade is an AoE, is the first thing. The second thing, it buffs your light and heavy attacks, okay? And you are getting penetration on the back bar too. So blockade is cool for most situations. Yeah, 90% of the situations the blockade is fine. But if you are like the people on YouTube, if you want to do like a crazy damage, like 150k with two-handed Reliquan on 21 million dummy, yeah, go for it. But this is dummy humping, and this is nothing else. Yeah, this was around here before this patch. You can just do 200k damage on the 21 million. All right, but with the vampire skill, Shimmering Frenzy, you can do it. You can even use it in the trial, and you can hit 150k in the trial as well. But you need to be in a very organized group and all this stuff. Yeah. So this is like very, very optional personal preference. You can still do way better than the two-handed while using the blockade as well, just with Shimmering Frenzy if you want. So for that reason, switching off to crit charge and using two-handed doesn't make sense for me. It is not beneficial for most of the fights in the game because of the game mechanic is making you to move. Like, you need to move. So, and there's a lot of ads and all. And Reliquan as well, they're using Reliquan with this setup. And Reliquan is a single target. Where there's 2-3 ads, you need to wait basically to build up the Reliquan, because it is building up basically. And where is it? Let me show you. Right here. Your light and heavy attacks apply a stack of blah blah wins to your target for 5 seconds, and it is stacking every half second up to 10 times. So it is like a Siroria. Yeah, it is single target. It is Siroria, basically, just a kind of stamina version of it. And this is not good. Maybe it is just good for Godslayer runs and this is it. But for the rest of the game, Reliquan is very, very bad choice. So for that reason, the Bassei still rules the game. If you ask me, for most situations, for most majority of the people, I will say 98% of the people should play with the Bassei and the setup, basically, the same setup. So those are the gear and skills. We do have on the front bar Radiant Operation for our execute, Camouflage Hunter for flanking, more major savagery, blah blah, minor berserk crit damage, Inner Light for maximum magic, Purifying Light just to copy the damage, you do, and Puncturing Sweep is our main spammable basically, and you get healed as well, and Flawless Stunbreaker to get more weapon and spell damage, and also if you activate it you get 300 for 20 seconds as well. On the back bar we have Channeled Acceleration for crit damage, Unstable Wall of Fire, I think I don't need to explain this one, Extended Ritual, Channeled Focus to get sustain and resistance, extended ritual to get healing and also heal people around you as well, and purify yourself from the bad effects as well. And Blazing Spear is the best damage over time on the game currently. And the Fear, Rage, Destruction Stuff Ultimate is the hard hitting ulti that we do have. So basically get the every passive like a dual wield, Destroy Staff, Light Armor, Fighter's Guild passives, like Sigic passives, Undaunted, and High Elf, and also Medicinal Use, etc. Blah blah. Also, if you want, you can get those as well. And so about the flex spots right here, there's a couple flex spots basically. You can use Crescent Sweep on the front, Dawnbreaker on the back. Okay, Crescent Sweep is quite nice, and where there is a lot of enemies, each time you hit, you get extra 2 seconds for your ultimate. So this is quite cool. And on the back bar, you just slot the Dawnbreaker for the passives, and this is it. And another thing is that you can remove the Extended Ritual, put the Solar Barrage, alright, to buff your light and heavy attacks by 40%. But if you ask me, if you want my honesty, it is not necessary, okay? And on the front bar, you can remove the Inner Light, replace it with the Barbed Trap to do bleed damage and also get crit damage, 10%, and replace Channeled Acceleration with Mystic Orb. So this is the trial setup right here, this one. And the first one that I explained is you can also use it in the trial as well, but you need to basically not use the Extended Ritual and use the Solar Barrage in the trial. And you don't need to worry about some other stuff like Kinras or something like that, because I mean, even you are using the dual wield, it is quite hard to keep up the Kinras with. And the Pillar of Nirn, according to my test, Pillar of Nirn is like hitting same with the Kinras, or it is just me, I don't know. But I'm hitting like 105k with each, so there's no difference for me as well. Apart from it, the champion points. On the green one, people ask me what I'm using. I'm using I have Rationer, I have Liquid Efficiency, I have Homemaker, I have Plentiful Harvest, and I have Master Gatherer. But apart from it, I have Treasure Hunter, Steadfast Enhancement, and Wanderer, Breakfall, Soul Reservoir, this is important, Fortune's Favor, and Gilded Fingers. This is my green thing. On the blue one, I'm not using Backstabber, but you can use it depending on the trial. So if you are in the VSS, don't use Backstabber. Yeah. But if you are not in VSS and somewhere else, put the Backstabber and Fighting Finesse. So, and then have Deadly Aim and Master at Arms. If you are not in VSS, Backstabber, Fighting Finesse, Deadly Aim, Master at Arms. If you are in VSS or in 4-man content, any 4-man content, you need to have Fighting Finesse, Deadly Aim, Master at Arms again, and Biting Aura, because it also increases your AoE damage by 10%. So in the dungeons, you have Tessian, you know, like, you don't need Backstabber, trust me. Even though you are flanking the whole time, you don't need Backstabber. You already have Camouflage Hunter for that anyways. I mean, it is not the same buff, of course, but still, you don't need Backstabber. And on the Extended Might, you basically get left and right side completely to get more spell damage. And you get every passive in here as much as you can get, according to your champion points. On the red one, we have Boundless Vitality, 1.4k maximum health, Survival Instinct. It's while you are affected with the status effect, your core combat skills cost 25 less. So it is what core combat skills means is your class abilities. So, and in here we do have sustained by suffering for recovery, 150 health, magic, and stam recovery while you are under the effects of negative stuff. And siphoning spells. When you kill enemy, you get 1.5k Magicka back. It is like a false god or vicious obsidian. You can think of it like that. So this is quite cool. And without it, without siphoning spells, you cannot sustain that Magicka. Like, it is kinda impossible to sustain this Magicka. So keep in mind, you need sustain to recover fast with the food, with your potion, like this. 1.6k magic recovery with the potion and food, etc, etc. You need it. So having less Magicka doesn't hurt your damage, okay? But having less Magicka is increasing the chance of having Basei up the whole time. Because basically, like when you put some skills and all, your Magicka will go down quite fast, and you will proc the Basei way faster, and it will stay when you start to do your rotation. It will stay basically where it is. The rotation, yes, the rotation. It is quite simple. It's let me put the things back up like this, and let me go into the dummy to show you what the rotation is. So we are at home, and basically most of the places that you need to do is keeping the buffs up first and doing it. In most of the places like trials or something like that, okay, just keep your buffs up, buff yourself first, and after this, what you do and start with is your blockade and the blazing spear, purifying light, and then basically sweep 1, 2, 3, 4 times, purifying light, apply, blockade, blazing spear, ulti if you have, front bar, purifying light, 1, 2 sweep, 3 sweep, 4 sweep, purifying light, blockade, and then this time you can do and take your time a little bit, put your purifying light back again, and start sweeping, 3, 4, purifying light, blockade, blazing spear, purify again. Actually, you do have time sometimes to like put the purify. How I mean it, like let's say you did put the purify, alright, and you come here, you do this, you do this, you do this. When you come back, you can put one spear and purifying and keep sweeping again, because like you do have time on the purifying light basically. So you put this on, you put 1, 2, and the 3 skill, you come back, you can see the timer is still going on and purifying light is up on the dummy. So you can sweep and wait for this to run out. And you don't need to reapply, because it is not the static rotation, right? Keep in mind, this is not a static rotation. So as long as you keep up with your buffs and all this, and it is according to your speed, by the way, but you can see I still have 2 seconds. I just sweep, now purifying light, 1, 2, 3 times more, and then go back, this, and this even, and I still put this purify now because it ran out. 1, 2, 3, get the buff, this, channeled acceleration, and blazing spear. It has 1 second, it is done. Put this back again. 1, 2, 3, but this is done now on the back bar, so you need to reapply your buffs and also reapply this one too, and go back to the front, sweep, 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 and put this on, put this on, put this on, also put this on again. You have 2 seconds, you can 2 sweep, purifying light, 1, 2, 3 sweep, and you can put this on because it is going to run out while you are on the back bar. So if the skill has like a 1 second, for example, while you are switching to your back, okay, you should apply before you switch to the back. That way you will have 5 seconds basically, and then when you are back, you kind of have time to waste a little bit seconds on the channel acceleration because it's taking time. So then when you come back, you just put the purifying light, and if you have 1 second or something, you just sweep, purifying light, and then sweep, sweep, okay, go back, put your skills again, and all this basically. So this is the rotation, this is dynamic basically. That way you can do the high damage, all right, because we are missing solar barrage, we are missing mystic orb, etc., and that way only dynamic rotation can do the high damage. And you need to know what skills and when to use it. And what I mean by, like, if you are in the dungeon or something like that, for example, you should, like, for instance, the boss is in the execute phase, alright? So you shouldn't put the channeled acceleration anymore, and you can just sweep, not the sweep, sorry, this one, radiant operation, basically. But, so, while you are executing, the first one that I showed you is from 100% to basically execute phase of the enemy, okay? While you are facing up with the multiple enemies, you can just like put the AoEs, yeah, and then just sweep. You don't even put the purifying light, you don't have to. If they are melting, you don't have to put the purifying light, alright? You can just AoE them down, or even you can blockade spam as well. This is hitting still hard, trust me. This is hitting hard, so keep in mind. On the execute phase of it, what you do, you basically, if the boss is like you think you can just nuke it, then just put the blazing spear blockade and then radiant operation it, alright? Don't use anything else, like I mean anything else, alright? Just light attack and then do 4 times, go back, blazing, blockade, and then radiant operation, like basically. But if the enemy has a little health and you feel it is not dying, you should keep up the channel acceleration, blazing spear blockade, yeah, purifying light, and radiant operation is through all of the game phase. So yeah. And at some point, while it is very near at the death, like 10% for example, yeah, you can still keep up the channel acceleration, blazing spear, blockade, but you drop the profound glide. Okay, so you don't use this one. This one you don't use after 15 or 10% ish health. And also, if you don't have the Destrolty, don't hesitate to drop Dawnbreaker. It hits hard. Look at this. Look at this. It hits hard, alright? Keep in mind, it is still hitting hard, and this is AoE. And also, you are getting spell damage as well from it. And this is good. Yeah, 300 spell damage for 20 seconds is awesome. Awesome. this is basically the rotation, and if you want to dummy humping, you actually cannot do it with this setup. Not quite, yeah. But you can do exactly what I did before, that I showed you before. And the rotation doesn't change, all right? The rotation just stays the same. So I will also show you the alternate rotation like this for you as well. Let me just get the ulti and just nuke it through. Can I get the ulti? Yeah, I can. I like my hat. So before you start, drink your potion, and you need to put the trap. Okay, follow it up. Trap, that's the ulti. Blockade, this, solar barrage, that, and that. Basically, I'm doing everything at once. And you just sweep, 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 purifying light, go back, spear, blockade, solar barrage. Do this. We have 1 second on the purifying light, it is gone. Now apply this, sweep, sweep, sweep again. Purifying light, orb, blockade, spear. This one, and then purifying light goes off. Apply this again. Of course, 1 sweep before it run out. And now this and trap goes down. And this one, you can skip the orb. You just put the purifying light back again, and this is the basically like the rotation. Yeah, just Dawnbreaker if you need, blah blah, etc. And about the execute on this setup, you keep the trap, barber trap up, okay? You keep the barber trap, and you keep the channeled focus as well, so you get sustained basically. And like it is 19% right now, okay? You don't start to Radiant Oppression him from 25. You start from 20, it is much better, way better, yeah. And you put the trap, Blazing Spear, this, and Solar Barrage, just go front, just execute him, and then you can do it just 4 times basically. You go back, now this is 15%. So you go back, you don't need channel focus if you don't need Magicka, alright? At 15%, you can put the spear, blockade, confront, of course keep the trap out, and then you just keep the Radiant Oppression. So light attack, Radiant Oppression, etc. Blah blah. And you may say, why I didn't use the Purifying Light? Purifying Light is from 25% to 20%. You don't change anything in your rotation. From 25 to 20, you use Purifying. At 20%, you drop Purifying, you use Blockade, Orb, Solar Barrage, Blazing Spear on the back, okay? And also Trap until 15%. And at 15%, you drop Solar Barrage as well. You just put the Blockade and the Blazing Spear, confront, keep the trap up, alright? And then just Radiant Oppression. And apart from it, you can put that thing as well, the orb. It is hitting hard, alright? The orb is hitting quite hard. So, this, and then trap if you need, and then Dawnbreaker if you want. So, and then just execute it. Like, go to back, you can put this, skip the orb, because he's like nearly dead, basically. So, something like that. This is like you need to worry about the environment, the health of the boss, etc. What skills should you use? If you are low on magic, don't use the orb. So the orb is going to melt you down, okay? The orb is going to melt you down. And if you are not going to know that in the trial, or if you don't have a group, don't use Tessin as well. okay? Keep the kilt on. The kilt is quite fine. Keep the kilt on. And yeah, I think that's it. This setup hits like quite hard. I did DPS tests and all before. I showed you with the same setup. Not quite same, but there's no difference with the pillar or the Kinras or something like that. There's no difference. And you can check with the other videos as well, so you can see the proper DPS test. I don't think I need to do it much further because I already showed you the rotation, what you need to do exactly. And yeah, this is it. I hope you enjoy the video, and thumbs up, subscribe, and comment below what you think about it. There's more to come. I'm planning, as I said, I'm planning to do a lot of videos, like, I mean, for a lot of classes. I'm planning to do videos and all, and keep in touch, guys. Take care of yourself, stay safe, and see you on the next video. Bye bye.